In the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Kyler Murray.
All right, what is going on, everybody, and welcome. We are back here. It's Monday. We're here for our weekly Heated Sports podcast. It is episode 6, which is pretty crazy to think about that we're already here 6 weeks in on the weekly podcast. If you guys were here from the beginning or if you're just tuning in now, thank you for tuning into the podcast. It really means a lot for us. Thanks for some of the feedback that we've been receiving. We really appreciate that. We've been taking a lot of that into consideration as well. Huge week, huge day here yesterday in the world of sports. The day we're recording this was the day after the first round of the NFL draft. We're in the middle of the NBA playoff season, so there's a lot of craziness going on there as well. We have a lot of things to talk about. We're honestly just going to dive right into it here and just get started. We're really just going to start off with the NFL draft. The first round was last night. Like I said, as we're recording here, that's really the only round we've had so far. So we're going to preview a little bit of the future and see maybe what we get right, what we get wrong. But looking at the first round yesterday, a lot of craziness, a lot of surprises, a lot of reaches, and a lot of players that maybe fell back more than they should have. But, dude, what's your takes, man? We're going to talk about our teams first. So, being a Steelers fan, you being a Redskins fan, I think we're both pretty happy with how our day turned out yesterday. So, man, for you, Dwayne Haskins, you're loving it. Yeah. You were preaching wanting a quarterback from the beginning.
No, yeah.
Doesn't sound like you expected Haskins to fall to you guys. So, I mean, what was your initial reaction? And, I mean, how are you feeling for the future here for Washington?
I thought the Giants were going to take him, but the Giants are obviously proven that they have awful, GM.
Yeah.
David Gettleman's an idiot. But
we're gonna roast the Giants a little later for sure. Yeah.
I'll take him at 15. That's a steal.
Oh, easily. Yeah.
He's the best. I think he's better than Kyler Murray.
You think
in general, yeah. I think I've told you that a couple of times.
I'll say, I think we've argued about that a little bit.
I definitely think
potential. I'll say I definitely think they're like the 1-2 punch in the draft. So I mean, the fact that the Giants passed on him completely surprises me, but yeah, I mean, clearly you're happy. I mean, they got their guy, the quarterback of the future. I'm pretty sure everybody in Washington and like all Washington fans are going to build around that. Yeah. They're really excited for it.
Keenum hasn't even started a game.
That's what I'm going to ask. So I mean, what's your thoughts with Keenum? I mean,
he's a professional backup. That's all he is.
Professional backup.
That's all he is.
So what do you think? I mean, I would guess that he's going to be the starter week 1, even with Haskins.
I don't think so.
You just going right with Haskins.
I think he'll prove that he can play the position. He'll start week 1 because Jay isn't the smartest person, but I think he'll do something right for once.
Yeah.
Start him at the quarterback position.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it'll be good. I mean, I'm excited to see it. I mean, I think that division got a lot more competitive.
Oh, absolutely.
It's tough to say if Washington's going to compete right away, but I mean, a lot of young quarterbacks in that division now. Giants and Redskins both adding quarterbacks. You got Dak Prescott and Carson Wentz, who are still at the very early stages of their career. That division is going to be really interesting going forward here, especially after these two rookies grow a little bit and get some starting experience under their belt.
It's going to be more exciting to watch the Redskins play now.
Oh, definitely. I mean, for you as a Redskins fan, I'll say you have something to be excited about as long as with the rest of the fan base. I mean, I know a few other Redskins fans as well, and they're all equally as excited, and they're pretty shocked equally as you were to see that Haskins even fell to them in the first place.
Yeah,
so I mean,
exactly.
it's really cool to see, and it's pretty much just rejuvenating that fan base in a sense after a struggling the last couple years here. So transitioning to my Pittsburgh Steelers, I am probably equally as excited. If you didn't follow the draft too much yesterday, the Pittsburgh Steelers made a move. They were originally at the 20th overall pick. They traded up to number 10, did a deal with the Denver Broncos to take the number 10 spot, and drafted a linebacker by the name of Devin Bush out of Michigan University. And Devin Bush was probably one of my top players in the draft. I was really excited for him. I had him as the second-ranked linebacker, and if you aren't aware already, Pittsburgh had a linebacker named Ryan Shazier who had a pretty devastating injury the last a few years ago, and he's pretty much still in the rehabilitation process. He says he wants to come back to play football, but the injury was very severe to his back, so we really don't know if he's going to end up playing again. But ever since he went down a few years ago, the Pittsburgh has had a very very serious need at the inside linebacker position, I'll say, and it hasn't been filled, and it's been very noticeable the last couple years. So now that Pittsburgh traded up, they got their guy. I think Bush is going to be an instant plug-in guy.
100%.
He's going to make a huge impact on that defense. I was preaching it pretty much since all the draft hype got started, and I was really just hoping that one, he would either fall to 20, but as we got closer to the draft, it became more and more likely that wasn't going to happen. He was probably going to be a top 10, top 15 pick. He was still there at number 10, and Pittsburgh shocked everybody, and they made the move and got him, and I could not be more excited for it. That just instantly improves his defense. I'm really excited to see how it works out, but from what I've heard from the like plays that I've watched him at Michigan, some of the stories that I've heard of him being a leader in that locker room in college, I mean, I think he's going to be a great addition for that team, and I couldn't be more excited for it. And I think that just makes the AFC North that much more competitive, and I'm really excited for it.
Did you see what he did at Michigan State? Oh, he's at Michigan. He like tore up the middle of the midfield logo, like tore it up.
I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, I dig the emotion for sure. Was that like against Ohio State? I think
against Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Yeah,
I knew it was like one of like their
talking
big
trash in
rivalry
Michigan.
games and everything. So I mean, I'm all for the emotion. I love it, and I mean, I've just heard a lot of stories of him. There was one story where I forget what game it was. They said Michigan was playing, but apparently the defense wasn't playing very well at all. The defensive coordinator was getting to go over to the sidelines and just pretty much just rail into like the defensive players there, but Bush kind of saw the coach coming and said, "Coach, let me do it. Like, I got it." And he like kind of shoved the coach off, and he himself just started going into his teammates, started trying to motivating and pump up the defense. So that just shows that leadership factor that I think this Pittsburgh defense could definitely use. There's a couple guys in there right now that, I mean, they are significant leaders for the defense, but you can't have like too much leadership, I think. And I think Bush is going to be a great young guy to plug into that defense. So I'm very excited for it.
Do you think Shazier will ever come back? I don't see a comeback happening.
I honestly don't know. I'm surprised that the guy's this motivated, and I'm surprised at the progress that he's made so far. I'm rocking the Shazier jersey now, and I mean, even being a Penn State guy, him coming out of Ohio State, since he's been in Pittsburgh, I love the guy. So I'm not going to knock him, seeing his determination and seeing his progress, but it's definitely clear with this pick that they're planning for the future and planning for the potential that Shazier doesn't come back. And I mean, best case scenario, he comes back in a few years, and then you got both of these guys, and see what happens.
And TJ Watt.
See what happens with that, But I mean, if I had to guess right now, I'd say probably not. But I mean, like I said, seeing his progress so far, and he's still 100% determined to come back. I'm not going to be a guy to knock him and just say that there's no way it's going to happen. So
I think I see him as a coach in the next 3 years.
I could see that.
Like
I mean, he's on like the staff. He's not on like the official roster, but like he's a part of like the Pittsburgh staff. So I mean, I could definitely see that happening. They did just fire their linebackers coach this past offseason. I mean, they obviously filled that with a different coach now. But yeah, down the road, I could easily see that if the organization still likes him that much at that type of position. So it'd be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, both of our teams made some pretty solid moves. I'm excited to see what happens here tonight with the second and third rounds.
It's gonna be interesting.
And just going forward, I mean, there's a lot of good things that happened. What are some of your biggest names, dude? There's a couple big names that weren't drafted and that are probably going to get their name called tonight. So what was some of your big surprises that you thought were going to go right away in the first round, but didn't really have that happen?
Well, before I found out that Dwayne Haskins was staying in the draft top 15 at least, I thought the Redskins were going to take Drew Lock. I like him coming out of Missouri. Like, he's a good quarterback. I think the size is just like knocking him down a little bit.
Yeah, I'll say his draft stock kind of fell more and more as we got closer to the draft, which really surprised me because I mean, a lot of people like Daniel Jones, and for some reason, people like Daniel Jones and not Drew Lock, and I thought those two were actually really similar players, idiotic. So it kind of was surprising. Yeah,
that's so dumb. Daniel Jones is nowhere like as good as
the Giants just loved him. I don't, not that I don't get it, because I mean, like, obviously they're doing a lot more research.
He's just like Eli Manning.
Yeah. And that's probably why they love him so much,
And he has a connection. The coach at Duke has a connection with the Manning brothers. So, like, it's just, like, inner circle kind of stuff.
I'll say, I mean, one of my other biggest surprises was that DK Metcalf wasn't drafted in the first round. And we had him going pretty high in our mock draft. But, I mean, in general, I think he should have been a clear first-round pick.
Absolutely.
It's really tough. I'm not a fan of drafting receivers in the first round unless there's, like, a clear-cut guy or it's, like, a huge need for your team. Like, I think the Baltimore Ravens was really the main team that desperately needed a wide receiver. And they had that pick late in the round, so it kind of made sense to take a receiver.
25,
but
I think.
They chose Marquise Brown over DK Metcalf.
I know, it's surprising.
I think those two were the clear, like, 1-2, like, in the wide receiver class. But so then it's okay. Yeah, they took Marquise Brown. But then the Patriots are up at 32, and I thought they were going to take some type of offensive playmaker. I had them taking a receiver in our mock draft. Wouldn't surprise me if they went tight end instead, but they took a receiver, but they chose N'Keal Harry instead. And that, I mean, N'Keal Harry is also very good, and I'm not going to knock on him at all, but taking him over DK Metcalf, this crazy, huge-bodied, raw talent receiver, just completely shocked me, and I wasn't expecting it at all. But again, I mean, I can't knock the Patriots. They clearly know what they're doing. They know how to scout out talent. I saw something where that Harry's a head coach over at Arizona State. Good friends with Belichick. They were talking a lot. I'll say Herm Edwards. So Herm Edwards, obviously, well known in his coaching days, but a while back, was on ESPN for a while. Now back at Arizona State. So him and Belichick are very close. They were talking a little bit, it seems like, and apparently that was enough to convince Belichick to take Harry instead. So I wouldn't be surprised if both of these guys, Drew Lock and Metcalf, are drafted very early here, come 7 o'clock for round 2. But
and Greedy Williams.
Greedy Williams too. I'll say that was one of my other surprises. We're gonna get back and looking at some of like the surprises that were happening in the first round. I'm gonna roast the Raiders a lot right now. They took Clelin Ferrell 4th
I don't know what
overall,
they're doing there.
and I'm not saying that he's not a great D lineman. He's a great, powerful force. He dominated at Clemson in the college football playoff and just throughout the entire season.
But
Obviously,
Josh Allen,
that defense was ridiculous, but you're passing on Josh Allen, which is completely ridiculous that he fell right into the Jaguars' lap at number 7.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't blame the Jags one bit for probably most likely adjusting their game plan and taking him at 7. Like, you have to take that guy there. But, I mean, Clelin Ferrell, he easily could have fell to the Raiders at their picks at, what, they have 24 and 27, I think, were their other 2 picks.
Yeah, because the next defensive end was at 12, Sean
like,
Gary.
He most likely would have been able to fall that far. And if anything, trade out of the number 4 spot.
Exactly.
If you know that's the guy that you're going to go with at 4, he would easily fall, I'd say at the very earliest, 15 to 20 range is where he would go. Trade out of that number 4 spot, get even more picks, which is weird to say, like seeing how many picks they already have, but that seems like some common sense there. But
they're too anxious.
Gruden and Mayock, very anxious. They have the picks. They went for it. They took Clelin Ferrell 4th overall, which surprised everybody. Took Josh Jacobs at 24, which I don't think surprised a lot of people.
That's
a good pick for them, especially after hearing the news that Marshawn Lynch is retiring from football. He's not going to be back. Even if he was coming back, I still think they had a pretty big need at running back. Lynch isn't a 3-down back anymore. No. Josh Jacobs is a clear number 1 running back in the draft, so they took him. I like that. But then they go ahead and they take Jonathan Abram.
You don't like him?
Out of Michigan State. I mean, it's not that I don't like him, but I think they could have gotten some better talent at 27, if I'm being completely honest. I think he would have fell towards like the 2nd round, or they maybe could have traded up like earlier in the 2nd round, but I think they could have made a little bit better with that pick there. But they do have some needs in the secondary, so I'm not going to knock that one too much either, just because it actually fills a legitimate need that they need, along with the running back pick with Josh Jacobs. So
he was only the 2nd safety taken.
Darnell Savage. I'll say Darnell Savage. I was surprised that he got drafted that early too. I saw him in a lot of mock drafts in the 2nd round going with Pittsburgh when they originally had their 2nd round pick before they traded it away to Denver in that 1st round trade. But
Green Bay showed that they wanted him a lot because they traded with the Seahawks to get it. So.
I'll say they made sure they got their guy. Green Bay had 2 picks and they ended up going defense with both of them.
That's
so
good.
They're stocking up that defense, which is huge. Would have liked to see them maybe go offensive line as well. I think they still could in the 2nd and 3rd rounds, but they need to protect Rodgers a little bit more. But what do you think, man? Do you got any other like surprises? Any other takes from the 1st round?
The only one I can think of would be like Noah Fant to the Broncos. I still don't understand.
Don't understand that.
No.
I mean it's tough. I mean I hate Joe Flacco. I don't think
That's what I'm saying. They should have drafted like Drew Lock.
They only went with like a 6th round pick to get him, I think. So they really didn't. It didn't cost much to get him, but he's not going to win that many games for them.
He has like 3 or 4 more years.
Yeah, you got to get your future quarterback. I would have been fine if they went with Drew Lock, or even just beefing up the defense a little more. They're losing a lot of players in that secondary, but
the defensive line needs.
I'll say I don't hate the pick and Fant too much. I mean, get some young playmakers to help build that offense. I mean, they could still obviously address their quarterback needs, maybe later in this draft or next year with the stacked quarterback class that's coming next year. Maybe that's what Elway's looking at. Who knows? I don't hate that pick too much. I think that he fell all the way to 20. I didn't think he was going to make it out of the 1st round. So, I mean, he fell to them at 20. I don't hate that one too much. What did surprise me a little bit, which is the last thing I'll touch on, is that DeAndre Baker was the first cornerback that was drafted.
To the Giants.
Yeah, I'll say to the Giants. And, I mean, that's just another surprise that, again, we'll get into the Giants a little more in depth here, talking about the quarterbacks a little later on. But there's a lot of talented corners in this draft, and when Pittsburgh was originally at 20, I didn't think Bush would fall to them, so I was hoping they would take a corner. And I was looking at guys like Greedy Williams and Byron Murphy, and neither of those guys got drafted in the 1st round. The only corner that got drafted was DeAndre Baker, who I liked, but I thought was kind of a reach, even for Pittsburgh, like at 20 in the 1st round. I thought he was a reach in the 1st round in general. So seeing that the Giants traded up back into the 1st round and went and got this guy over those other 2 guys in Greedy and Byron Murphy that I mentioned, I thought that was pretty bold too. But Baker he's a hard-hitting cornerback. He played pretty well at Georgia last year for that defense. So
I think Grady's better though. I think he's just faster.
Greedy, he's by far was the fastest corner, fastest secondary player, I think, like at the pro day and everything, and at the combine. But it's interesting to see. I mean, I think both of those corners are going to get drafted pretty early in the 2nd round as well. But that's pretty much all the takes I have. I'm not going to go too much more in depth right now, but you got anything else about the first round here before we move on?
I just think speed is better than power, honestly, in the cornerback position at least.
It's the one thing that people
power can just lead to like linebackers.
The one thing that Greedy got knocked for a lot, like as like the offseason progressed, was his tackling and his lack thereof essentially. Like he's one of those guys where he's fast and he's great in coverage, but when it comes to tackling or making the big hits, some of these other guys, they're kind of making him look bad in that category a little bit. So I mean, that was the one thing that was knocking Greedy, but I still think he's a good enough talent that he should have been taken before
definitely.
then. But all right, yeah, guys. So that's kind of our analysis here from the first round. We're gonna get in some more quarterback-specific discussion here in a little bit. But we're gonna transition to the MLB a little bit. We put out an article here last Monday about this crazy National League MVP race that's happening right now, and Christian Yelich and Cody Bellinger.
April already.
And yeah, Zach's gonna read some numbers off for us and talk about it because he's the one that put the article out. So Zach, what do you got for us, man? Just what are these two doing right now, and just how are they putting up numbers like this?
Well, I don't know how they're doing it. They're not obviously human, but Christian Yelich has a .326 batting average with 13 home runs and 31 RBIs, which is just like most of those home runs come against the Cardinals, though. To be fair,
I would say it had.
He's really just destroyed
ridiculous
them.
Number against the Cardinals.
And then on the other side is 424, I think, for Cody Bellinger, 12 home runs and also 31 RBIs. And the one that
426.
Yeah, exactly. It's insane.
That's not allowed to be a batting average after like a month and a half.
Especially for like a power hitter like he is.
Exactly.
It's just non-existent usually.
It's insane.
And these guys are really getting up to like the Mike Trout conversation for the like best baseball player in the league right now. So
definitely, I mean, if they like, the thing with baseball that's so tough is just consistency.
Exactly.
And that's why Trout's been in that, like, I mean, I'm just gonna say GOAT conversation for the last several years because he's putting up the GOAT like numbers consistently every single year. Not saying that Yelich and Bellinger can't, but we saw the last year or so Bellinger he gets hot and he falls off big time.
The second half of the season,
especially come playoff time, he falls off big time. But Yelich, I mean, ever since the All-Star break last year, he's been raking. He just has not slowed down whatsoever. So I mean, if I had to go with one of them to keep it up and one of them to fall off, I would have banked on Yelich probably continuing this pace a lot longer. But I mean, these two guys in the National League right now are just completely carrying their teams and just lighting it up for sure.
The one thing Bellinger has for him is just age. He's like 3 years younger than Yelich, so like he's starting at a younger pace. But I saw, this is like unrelated, but Mike Trout got caught stealing yesterday by Gary Sanchez.
Yeah, did you see that throw?
It was insane,
absolutely ridiculous.
But like, I don't think he's slowing down, but like I think people are starting to see like how to get Mike Trout out and like how to like adapt to him playing. But yeah, he's in the GOAT conversation definitely because ever since he's been in the league, he's been in the top 5 MVP conversation.
Exactly.
And voting. So I think it's showing that consistency really just goes far in the league.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, it's tough because, I mean, like, we were talking about how much Yelich dominates the Cardinals, but I mean, the Cardinals are getting back at him right now. The Cardinals are kind of not running away, but they're in a pretty decent lead in that division right now. The Brewers have fallen off here since our last episode last week, but I mean, if Yelich picks that up, you really can't expect them to be falling off too much. I mean, I think the Brewers are going to be in the conversation as long as Yelich is playing like this and the team around him is kind of just playing it at a very similar level. But the Dodgers, on the other hand, the Dodgers are playing lights out baseball right now, and they're looking really good. I'm really not having too many issues. Right now, I'm looking at the actual numbers. They have a 1-game lead in the division with the surprising Diamondbacks, but for being honest, the Diamondbacks aren't going to keep up in that division too much. I think they have some good pieces around them, but I don't expect them down the stretch of the season. I expect the Dodgers to probably run away with this division. I had thought the Rockies were going to be a sleeper team this year, and they're really not showing me that right now. So that's who I thought would be their biggest competition in the division. And with the Rockies playing that bad, I think it's easily the Dodgers division to lose yet again, pretty much, and making a potential playoff run this year. So I mean, we'll transition here a little bit because, I mean, obviously Philly sports is a big focus for us being in Central PA. Phillies are scaring me, man. I know they're scaring you too. Right now, the Phillies are a half game behind the Mets in the division, and I just don't know what's going on with this team.
It's just the pitching.
It's like I said last week. It's just complete 180. Like, whether it's pitching and just on the offensive side, this team will put up 10 runs one day, get shut out the next day. Aaron Nola and Arrieta, and even like Eflin too. Eflin's been throwing well, and he just completely just blows it the next start. Like, there hasn't been any consistency with this team.
They're young.
I was gonna say, I mean, it's a young team, and they're gonna have to like figure out how to play as a team. It's a lot of new pieces. So I get it. I'm not pushing the panic button just yet. Injuries aren't helping either, with Segura going down and then Kingery going down. His backup is shortstop going down a few games later. Some injuries in the outfield as well with Herrera. So, I mean, once this team's back and healthy, hopefully they'll pick it back up
100
and start
yeah,
to be some more
100% will,
consistent.
I
But
think.
I'm just right now they're keeping pace in the division. Pretty much everybody but the Marlins, as expected, is in like the competition here for the division. You have the Mets, the Phillies are a half game back, the Braves are 1 game back, the Nationals are 1.5 games back. So everybody's right there at the division lead.
It's a good division.
I'll say I'm waiting for someone to kind of pull away here a little bit, but everyone's been just sticking right around that 500 mark for the last week or so. So we'll have to see. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't push the panic button just yet, Phillies fans, but that's definitely something to look out for a little bit going forward. And just hoping some of these guys are able to come back sooner rather than later.
They need to sign Keuchel. Like, honestly, just get
Yes,
Keuchel.
okay, yes.
We'll
You
preach
reminded
again.
me. I said I'm saying this every single episode, so I'm glad you reminded me, yes. Dallas Keuchel is still unsigned, and if anybody's watching this, just at the Phillies on Twitter, just completely blow it up because, like, it needs to happen, and I don't know if they're even considering it. Again, no, like, buzz, no news whatsoever, no updates
super
from
quiet
either from him,
start of
and it's
season.
just, I don't get it. But, Dallas Keuchel to the Phillies, it's going to happen, and, yeah, just pray about it every night, and it's going to happen, so... All right, guys, we're going to take a short break. Like I said a couple times, we're going to get into some college to NFL draft quarterback discussions here. We have a Giants fan in the studio in James Duncan, so we're going to get him on, talk about the Giants' struggles in the draft, talk about Daniel Jones, and the obvious one we haven't even mentioned at all yet. It's Kyler Murray going first overall, which, we'll get into your formal apology a little later maybe. But
I guess we're doing
but
that.
no, yeah, so Kyler went first. We'll talk about him. We'll talk about some Daniel Jones drama because obviously not many Giants fans are happy, so we're going to get James in here, and he's going to give us his opinions on that. So we'll be right back, guys, and let us know what you think about everything we mentioned so far. Give us some feedback if you have any opinions. We'll be right back. All right, what's going on, guys? We're back. We have Heated Sports' very own James Duncan in the house.
Yeah.
So we're just going to get right into it, man. I'm not going to say you're a diehard Giants fan because you've bailed on them a couple times in the last couple years that I've known you.
Nah. Can I tell the story, though, at least really quick? All right,
please.
so it was New Year's Eve going into 2019. I'm sick and tired of my Giants looking like garbage. So I toasted. And I said, F the Giants, go Birds. And so I decided to 50-50 myself. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm staying. But
sorry,
yeah, I know. It's a weird...
I'm sorry.
I know, man.
It's a weird 50-50 choice.
Yeah,
I do say so.
but I have to because it's like...
I mean, everybody around our friends.
It's Lancaster, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Fans,
so I don't know. I kind of didn't really have a choice. It's either run with the boys or not, you know.
Yeah.
All right, man. So you're one of your teams, the Giants, is by far the most roasted team in media right now after the first round of the draft. Was officially completed last night. Biggest issue: Daniel Jones going number 6 overall, passing on Dwayne Haskins. What was your thoughts, man? Like, were you all right with it? Are you as heated as everybody else is? Like, what?
I mean,
what's
like.
the deal?
First of all, I just want to say thank you for passing up.
Yeah, no, sure. Like,
So-
I think not taking Haskins was a stupid call, but it just let's look at it this way, right? I think it just shows that the Mannings have a very, very strong kind of say.
Apparently, this was the Mannings guy.
Right.
Apparently.
So it just a strong say just in both of their, not necessarily Peyton's presence a lot, but still, even with those teams with like the Colts when he was on the Broncos, like I feel like they always have just that little touch of just like, this is just who we are and what we do. And it really just shows you that like the NFL is just not going to say no to any of the Mannings. I mean, clearly the relationship between Jones and Duke, all of it just doesn't make sense. I mean, it makes sense, but like it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was hysterical when I was watching the feed on Twitter. MetLife Stadium, they were booing him already, like in a matter of like 2 seconds. But I don't understand. I mean, like, do you really boo the guy? Like, do the Giants want to be the Giants that they were like maybe like 7 or 8 years ago, where it was like, all right, Eli's playing like Eli. I never like looked at Eli Manning as like a serious like.
He was never blowing
He
anybody
was never
away.
blowing me.
Those defenses were a huge part of those Super Bowls.
Yeah,
2007.
blowing out of the water,
Yeah.
like nothing like that ever.
So I mean, and that just seems like Daniel Jones just seems like it's going to be the same type of thing. I mean, I don't think he's going to blow anybody away, even if he has a few years like to like learn the system. Like he's not going to get thrown in right away.
No.
I don't think. But
I don't
like,
think so either.
I just don't get why you're taking him at 6.
I mean,
they got to pick at 17. He easily would have fell there. I think if you just wait
Huge
for him.
reach.
yeah, sure, but like, who else do you think they're grabbing?
I mean, they need so many other positions on defense. They could have took Josh Allen.
Yeah,
Josh Allen's
that's
waiting
true.
there at 7. That
That's
was
true.
the biggest. That was the biggest thing where I'm like, dude, this guy is just falling in your lap, and they passed on him and Dwayne Haskins.
Okay.
I'm still taking Dwayne Haskins
But
instead,
let's think about this. Like, the Giants picked a quarterback. Like, regardless, like, finally, like, the Giants picked a quarterback.
They picked like 3 quarterbacks the past 2 years.
I
though.
know, but like, pick the quarterback that like they can actually like
They made like
do something
the,
with.
the big move.
Like,
that
and
they
it's
wanted.
clear now. Like, everything's changing. Like, I know what you mean, and I know that they've been picking quarterbacks, and I understand that. What I'm saying is like, all right,
A top tier quarterback.
let's
if you will.
take. Yeah, this is like the first like top tier quarterback that like we can actually really look at and be like, all right, because now everyone has come to the conclusion, I think, across the board, that Eli has to be done after this year. Has to be.
Hopefully,
Because
I hope for the Giants fans' like sake, I hope that's.
I
the
hope for
case.
Jones' sake that's the case,
Maybe
man.
even like during this year, during the year.
Dude, I hope Manning chokes.
He-
I hate
You
Eli
can't
Manning
choke.
now,
You have to be
bro.
good to choke though.
I feel like he has to. Like, he's not gonna play at any like remotely close to like an elite level.
No,
ever
he has in
again.
the past like 7 years.
For a Giants fan, ideally, I think here's what you want to hope for. By game 5, Eli looks like garbage, right? And you're training your backup. And let's see what the kid can do. I don't like the interception, numbers that I was seeing. What was it, like 29?
58 to 29.
Yeah, something like
in
that.
2 seasons. It's
Yeah.
especially at a college like Duke where you're not playing the best competition.
Yeah,
on a daily
like, come
basis.
on,
ACC,
like,
yeah,
That's
exactly.
not the best. Yeah.
So, I mean, are we just gonna get another Eli Manning? I mean,
And I think that's
but
that's what everybody's concerned.
I think the
is, yeah.
Giants might kind of want that though.
I mean, yeah, guy got him 2 Super Bowls, but I mean, at the same time, like,
Did
you
he
don't
get
want to
them?
settle for an Eli Manning.
No, yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like
You got to go out and get the most talented guy. And I mean, if they truly thought that Daniel Jones was their guy, and maybe they had some red flags about Haskins, then you know what? Take him. You know what? Like, they did it. They pulled the trigger on it. Fans aren't going to be happy, but at the end of the day, fans are fans, and like the executives and like all like the high-end scouts, their profession is to figure out who their guy is. The
Yeah.
fans can do whatever analysis they want, but I mean,
I think
if
the
that's their guy, then they got to go with it.
Yeah, I think the fans should be focusing more on what's going on in that front office because that thing is
It's
just a
falling
mess.
apart.
David
It's a
Gettleman.
mess.
It's completely falling
So
apart.
I guess like I guess like to conclude, like, I'm not upset about this because I know that like things are starting to change, like with this whole idea of getting a top tier quarterback. It's going to be another one of those things where it's like everyone's saying, they're just going to be a run team this year, and that may have to be the case. I mean, Saquon snapped last year. Is he going to grab a sophomore slump? I don't know.
he
I-
can't.
But
Yeah, he
I don't
can't.
think so.
He can't. That
And I
team
mean,
don't
can't
know.
afford
if
it.
you're relying on the run, I mean, Saquon's a solid guy to have to rely on the run. so,
Sure,
I mean, yeah.
but that's also really hard because it's like, who's Eli? Like, is Eli going to throw that ball? It just look. Week 1 is really going to be the call because we're going to see what.
Oh, Eli
with
has
the-
tremendous pressure on him. Yeah, like you said, like the first 4 or 5 games of the season is going to determine how long he plays the rest of his career as
Yeah.
a starting quarterback. I think.
Yeah.
It's
'Cause
like
they have the guy now. The last couple of years, Eli can suck it up the entire year.
Yeah.
There's no one to replace him, so it doesn't matter. Now
Right.
they have a guy. The media knows it. The fans know it. There's a guy on the sideline now waiting to play. Number 6 overall pick. Eli has to play well or he's done easily.
it's just like the Cardinals last year. They had Bradford starting.
Well,
He
it's
started
also-
like 6 games, and Rosen took over.
was thrown in right
Exactly.
away.
Right,
Like,
but who's gonna make that? Like, who's actually gonna make that call? I just feel like the Giants like love Eli Manning too much, so they're just gonna let him make his own decision.
Pat Shermer's like his best friend. There's no way.
That's
Pat
what I'm
Pat-
saying.
Pat's
So
gonna-
I don't know. But I mean, that's just my take. I'm not too upset about it, but I definitely see why Giants fans are upset. Look, if you know people from New York and you know people from Jersey, like I know people from New York and New Jersey, like people are gonna get mad about
They wanna
this.
win.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
People, I don't think people really look at that as like.
The
Like-
New York Jets and New York Giants are completely reversed now. Like
Yeah.
the Giants are not used to being
Yes.
this type of team, and the
Yes.
fans aren't used to the Giants being this type of
Shout
team.
out
Exactly.
shout out to my cousin Ellis. I told him, I believe it was probably like week 6, week 7. He looked at me, he goes, Le'Veon's going to the Jets. I said, absolutely no shot. He's like, are you sure? I said, on everything that I am, Le'Veon Bell's not going to the Jets. It's just not happening. It doesn't make sense. And he was like, okay, I'll bet you $20. I'm out $20.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Jets
Yeah.
look good. Yeah, same thing. I mean, the fan base is the same. New Jersey and New York.
Yeah.
And if you, it's the same. It's the same as Philadelphia. Everybody's just very, very like, they don't care. They don't care like what anyone else is gonna say about them. They're just gonna run their mouths, and that's just how it's gonna be.
If,
Yeah.
if you're not winning, you're you're gonna get like yelled at by the fans. Essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I'll say real quick to wrap up. We got to talk about Kyler Murray going first overall. You were against it from the beginning. What happened, dude?
I apologize to the Cardinals for making a mistake. That's all I'll do.
You have
Fair
to,
enough.
dude. But you were saying like there's no. You were.
I was saying there's
were
no chance. I know. I don't understand why they did it. I really don't. Like, they're
You
not
think it was a dumb move?
I don't think it was a dumb move. I think they just could have done a better move.
I think it's similar. It's similar to what I said with the Giants. They know who they want, and I mean, it seems like it took them to the very last second to make a decision. But
Yeah, that was the weird thing.
I waited the full 10 minutes for them to make their pick when they've known they had this pick for the last
That's
3
what I'm saying.
months.
That does
So
not
it's like,
make any sense to me. I will never understand that. Like when people take like unless something changes like throughout the combine and like you're making like a last second decision, that's fine. But like, come on, the first pick.
Pull the trigger.
You know you have the first pick. The world knows you have the first pick.
Exactly.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
But I'm all about it.
So am I.
I was excited to see it. I'm excited to watch him. I think reports came out today that Rosen's probably going to go to the Dolphins. So I mean, we can easily see that within the next half hour or an hour that's going to be the team he goes to. Other than that, Patriots, Chargers, obviously not the Redskins anymore. So
I'm okay with that.
Patriots and Chargers were like two of the teams that were also in the mix. But I mean, the Dolphins seemed like they're going to give up their second-round pick for him. So that could be the new destination for Josh Rosen. When this goes live, that could very well already be a thing. So it looks
I just think, I don't know, Kyler just...
He's definitely gonna. He's
really
he's
good.
one of the most interesting prospects in a while.
It just blows my mind how fast he rose. Like,
yeah,
sure, but here's the thing. Like, that's the whole point of this. Like, the Cardinals now have a spotlight on them. They have a quarterback that now needs to defeat the odds against everybody that thinks it's a ridiculous idea for him to even jump into the draft. People were saying that he should have went and played baseball. More money. Yeah. But he kind of gets to show everybody what he's made of, and I think that's really going to fuel the fire. I think with him and Baker, like, knowing each other too, like, I really think that like there's going to be some sort of some energy boost that's going to come from him. That's really just going to send it through the roof.
It's going to be interesting. I think he's going to not benefit more. That's a weird way of phrasing it, but their offensive line is so bad. Kyler's much more mobile, much more easier to get in the pocket.
The kid can run, and he's tiny.
He's 5'9",
yeah. Rosen would be screwed behind that offensive line unless they improved it like ASAP. So I mean, I think that's another thing that Murray's a lot more mobile. He's going to be a lot more beneficial behind that struggling O-line, but I'm excited for it, and I'm just ready for the season now. Like, I'm serious. I'm excited to watch the next couple of rounds here in the next day or so. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there, man. Thanks for coming on here,
you already know how it is.
About the Giants.
Make sure you guys follow everything that we're doing. We're trying to just work hard here every week. So stay tuned. Thanks for having me on, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.
Sure, man. We appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely.
We're going to take another short break. We got our NBA expert in here, Harrison. Obviously, middle of the NBA playoffs. Haven't said a word about it yet, but we're going to get right into some deep talks now. So we'll be right back, and we're going to bring Harrison on. So we'll be right back, guys.
Peace.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in here. We're back now. We have Harrison. Like I said, he's pretty much Heated Sports' NBA expert is what I'm going to call you, because, I mean, that's pretty much what your focus is. Weekly NBA articles, giving a lot of in-depth analysis, especially now that it's playoff time. It's a great time to have that. So
best time of the year.
Yeah, so pretty much everything in the first round is wrapped up except for 2 series out in the West. So, I mean, we got the Warriors, which is surprisingly, they have not won their series yet. The Clippers are hanging tough. Game 6 is actually tonight. What are you expecting with that one, man? We'll just get started one by one.
I threw this game up on the Twitter poll. I let the people decide how it's going to go. The majority of people voted for LA.
Really?
Yeah.
It is in LA. Game 6 is in LA.
It is in LA.
Yeah.
It's in LA. You can look at this from one of 2 perspectives. The first one is if like you're a Warriors fan or anybody who observes Golden State, like they've been nothing but disappointing.
Yeah.
You know, like their defense has been lackluster at best. Like they're not playing hard on defense. Their offense, they're gonna get theirs every single game, which they have. Durant's been huge. But the Clippers are just like bullying them around. Montrezl Harrell and Lou Williams have been absolutely fantastic.
He's demolishing them right now.
He's tearing them apart. I think him and Montrezl had like 54 combined points in this past game. They're playing really well. I think LA is gonna steal this because Golden State take it to Game 7 because the Warriors have been so arrogant. If you listen to like Klay Thompson after Game 5, like he's like, you know, like we're looking forward to Houston. Like it's fine. Like we got this under control. Everyone's acting like they have it under control, but you don't. Like this series is still alive.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, being a Steelers fan, this reminded me of 2 years ago. Pittsburgh's in the playoffs against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they're like, we're looking forward to the Patriots. Revenge game against the Patriots in the next round, just completely bypassing the Jags. And if you follow the NFL, you know exactly what happened. And the Jags just completely tore them apart. Yeah. And just they made them look like ridiculous after making all those comments.
You guys made Blake Bortles look like
Brady. Blake Bortles became like a god in football for 2 straight weeks, and it was just ridiculous. So I mean, you can't sleep on those. Like, even if you think they're lesser opponents, like it's the playoffs.
That's the thing is, if they lose Game 6 in LA, they're playing for their lives in Game 7. Yeah, like they could legitimately be eliminated by an 8 seed. It's a tremendous disappointment.
One of the biggest upsets in a while. So
oh yeah.
The other series that is actually in a Game 7 here coming up tomorrow is we got the Spurs and the Nuggets.
Yes.
So another potentially upsetting, like up 2 seed and a 7 seed. So I mean, something that's not supposed to go to a Game 7 has made it to a Game 7. You got DeMar DeRozan and Greg Popovich.
It's Pop, man. It's
Pop.
100%. What else do you expect, man?
Yeah, I love it.
I think the Spurs done a great job of eliminating the Nuggets supporters around Jokic. I mean, obviously, like he's gonna get his, which he did. In the Game 6 loss, Jokic had like 43 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists, almost a triple-double. But the rest of the squad, like, they're not there. They're locking down Murray, the rest of the guys. LaMarcus Aldridge, DeMar DeRozan having tremendous series. Derek White stepping up, putting up 36 points.
And out of nowhere,
Yeah, incredible. So, I mean, like, what else do you expect? It's the Spurs. Pop's going to have him ready. Somebody, like, in an interview with Pop was like, do you expect your guys to be ready to play? He's like, what do you think? Like, this is playoff basketball.
Like,
every year.
I don't know if they're ready.
I don't know. Like, why would you think they wouldn't be? That's what the Spurs do every single year. That's why they made the playoffs. What,
20 straight years?
Yeah, 20 straight years. Like, they got a formula.
Streak. Yeah, so all right, yeah, so I mean, I go back and forth. I mean, it's hard to bet against Pop in a Game 7. So
he's 1-2 on the road in Game 7s.
On the road.
Yeah, overall he has a winning record, but on the road he's 1-2. I think it goes to 2-2.
I think so too. Yeah,
I can't bet against them. The Nuggets are on the rise. I take nothing away from their season, but I mean the Spurs, they've been here. They're battle tested. With Pop behind you, I would take that 10 times out of 10.
I'm excited for it. So we'll transition to the East because the East is all locked in for round 2. So
yeah, baby.
I want unbiased opinion here. Celtics, Bucks, Raptors, Sixers. Which series do you think is gonna? Which series are you more excited to watch? Which is tough because you're a Sixers fan. But like, what series do you think could potentially be the most competitive? But go the distance. Do you think between the two?
It's so hard to be biased because I want to say like, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers, you know, let's go. But I think it's surefire that Milwaukee and Boston's gonna go to 7 games.
7 games.
Yeah, because Boston, I was kind of bash on them a little bit when I was talking about like their regular season chemistry.
I did.
How they were playing.
It was awful. Yeah.
I think everybody was. But they swept Indiana and like they did it looking pretty good. Yeah. In the first half, a couple of those games, they were a little sloppy. The game was closer than it should have been. But at the end of the day, they swept them. Kyrie's been unstoppable. Gordon Hayward is out there getting buckets, looking like he did when he was healthy.
Yeah, exactly. He's back to like his old self.
So that team's clicking, and they'll have Marcus Smart back.
Ew.
And I think all around, I love Marcus Smart. Like as a Sixers fan, I hate him from the perspective of a Sixers fan. But I would have him on my team any day. Yeah, he's the kind of guy you need for a championship team. I think the Celtics are going to win this series. I think that they're more talented, and when they're playing with chemistry, I mean, they beat Milwaukee last year. Yeah. Like I think overall, if they're playing together, that they're the better team.
I think the Bucks are more
you got me like stuttering here. Like I'm back and forth. Like,
which I'm totally going against my bracket, which I made earlier.
Like I don't know if I can go against the Bucks.
No,
I agree with you that it's at least 6 games. Very well could be 7. But I mean, Bucks home field advantage.
You can't stop Giannis. Like, you can't stop him.
That's probably my pick in the series. But I agree with you. The Celtics keep this chemistry up completely. Like
they're scary,
180
man.
From what they were in the regular season. Like they're extremely dangerous. I'll say we had you on a few weeks ago doing a lot of just NBA playoff predictions. We all we're all 3 Sixers fans. All unanimously had the Raptors beating the Sixers. You sticking with that now? Do you have any hope for the Sixers? Do you think they'll make it a competitive series at least, or what do you think?
I just totally turned my back on my bracket because like I had Milwaukee playing Toronto in the conference finals, and I picked Boston now. Yeah. But as a Sixers fan, like I want to be like, yeah, like Sixers gonna win this. Simmons gonna have a great series, Embiid's gonna have a great series, and stay healthy. I don't know. It's so hard to look at this and see Philly coming out of it.
Just looking at that roster,
all it takes is like a couple of Embiid injuries, getting dinged up a little bit, missing a game or two, not being able to play full minutes,
or just a below average game by Simmons. Like,
exactly.
We've seen how this team plays. If Simmons plays below what he should be,
if Simmons not being aggressive, Embiid's a little hurt. If Redick's not making his threes, I don't know how
It's
we beat this team. Yeah, and somebody's got to lock down Kawhi. I think it's important to try to get aggressive with him.
I think we like talked about this earlier, but I think
bit,
Butler and Ben Simmons can stop Kawhi. Butler's a great defensive player.
Butler is when he's playing hard, which he has so far in the playoffs.
The two of them shut down D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that he's even close to what
about
Kawhi is, but I mean, I think they can keep Kawhi.
Like monetary low. Like
exactly.
If we can keep Kawhi from going off, that's the key to making this series.
Yeah.
They'll suppress him. Not that they're going to shut him out. He's not going to do anything.
No,
but they're going to prevent him from like blowing up for like a 40, 50-point game or something insane.
The thing that scares me is it's the depth. Like if one of our guys goes down, then all of a sudden like we're giving heavy minutes to a Mike Scott or a Boba.
He's injured, I think.
Is he hurt?
I think he's hurt. He got hurt in the 5th game against the Nets.
Yeah, he's going. He's playing.
And that's exactly what the Raptors have. The Raptors have that depth.
They have the best bench in the game.
They can afford like a minor injury here and there.
Exactly.
They can rest their starters for a solid chunk of the middle the middle of the games. Because they have that depth, they have the talent off their bench that the Sixers really just don't have right now.
It's
that's
what
tough.
scares me.
I mean, I'm definitely sticking with my pick for the Raptors. I
agree.
Obviously, as a Sixers fan, I hope the Sixers will make it competitive. I think they'll win at least like 1 or 2 games. But, I mean, I really can't go against the Raptors, and especially how they played in the first round. I mean, they got upset in that game 1, won 4 straight after that.
I don't care about the game 1 upset.
Whatever. Get it out of their system.
Exactly. I mean, so did we. And, like, what do we do to them? Like, Jared Dudley, get out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
I think
he's not even wrong.
I honestly think
it's just like, come on, man.
Ben has, like, been playing. He's been shooting 60%, so, like, since that comment. So I think he's going to go in the series with more stuff to prove. And if Embiid's injured, it's okay because we have Monroe. He's tall. Boban. But Ben just steps it up more, I think, and just really like helps carry the team more. So I think it's gonna be like a 7-game series for sure.
Yeah, I think so too. I like it. I think we're gonna steal.
I'm so excited.
2 7-game series in the
I'm so excited.
All these series are great. Oh, they're all gonna be so good. The Western Conference too.
Yeah,
you gotta discuss Western.
I'll say we got a couple more minutes here. Last thing I want to touch on, which we can touch on for a little bit, Blazers.
Blazers?
Oh my
completely
goodness.
Just
beating the Rockets.
Demolishing the Thunder. I touched on it and roasted my guy Russell Westbrook a little bit last week, which I enjoyed doing very much.
So did Dame.
Yeah, Russ.
Blazers completely just Damian Lillard specifically just taking it to another level, finally being recognized for like the player that he always has been, and I love every second of it. So I mean, what do you think, dude? You put in our group chat that this team could easily make a championship run here after
the personnel is different, but the whole like the structure of the way they're going to these playoffs reminds me of like the 2011 Dallas Mavericks when they were the 3 seed. Like their second best player was Caron Butler that year, small forward. He went down before the playoffs, so it's kind of similar to like the Blazers losing Nurkic. So I mean, that team, Dirk stepped up, Jason Terry stepped up, Jason Kidd. They won the finals against the Heat that year. This Portland team is just getting hot at the right time.
100%.
Lillard is shooting 39% on 3-pointers beyond 30 feet. Which is equivalent to what Paul George was shooting 3-point period. That's insane.
It's just like that's not supposed to happen.
That doesn't happen.
No.
And
Paul George has the audacity to say that's a bad shot.
Yeah, that's what really like
game
irked me.
like, dude, like come on.
It was awful.
I love
defense.
Paul George, but it's like, come on, man. Like you just lost a series. Like
take the L.
Take that L.
Embarrassing fashion. Like just we're not competitive really at all in the series. I mean, they stole a game or 2 at home, but like
that's cute.
It's Russell.
Exactly.
Russell's getting.
It's not a bad shot. That's bad defense.
Yeah, exactly.
You see the numbers. Like you got to D up on this guy. He's clearly not going to the hoop because there's 3 seconds left on the clock.
Exactly.
He's been sizing you up this whole time. He's gonna shoot a 3. Get up on him.
And the game's tied. It's not like they need to make the shot. Game's tied. He's gonna pull up, and if they misses, all right, overtime. Then they'll just in overtime.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
Cold-blooded, man.
ridiculous.
The guts to take that. A 37-foot 3-pointer to win the game. Place it rubs.
I loved it. Oh my gosh.
Incredible.
Goosebumps like right away.
I think this could be the beginning of a deep run because I think they can beat San Antonio or Denver. Whoever comes out of there, they probably 100%. Will.
Yeah. I definitely see them in the conference finals. I mean, all right, I'm not knocking on the Clippers, but assuming it would be the Warriors to come out of there, I think that's at least a safe assumption. Warriors or Rockets against the Blazers. I think either one of those would be a great series. Yeah. I don't know who I would pick just yet. I mean, we have some time before we'd have to do that, but I mean, I'm very excited for the rest of this. I think
I know who I'm leaning towards for that series.
I'm very excited. So I mean, it's going to be interesting. Second round is going to be ridiculous. We're going to watch a couple of these. Well, the one Game 7 and the other potential Game 7. We'll see what the Clippers do here tonight after we're done recording. But I'm excited for it. But what do you got the rest of the way here, man? Any final comments? Anything else that you got on your mind here?
I'm just gonna say, man, fear the beard. All right, this team has been waiting for a full year, and like they're ready. I would love to see it. Like if they traveled to Golden State to wait for the Warriors to win their Game 6 against the Clippers. That'd be like the ultimate shade. Like the Clippers won that game in Game 6.
Yeah.
Or if the Warriors go to LA and win, they have to come back. Houston's like waiting for them there.
Oh yeah, they're chilling for a couple of days, just waiting for it.
So I say let's go Sixers. I really hope the Bucks win because I don't want to see Boston.
100%.
We've had nightmares about them since the whole process began.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say let's go Pop. He's a great guy. I'm gonna be rooting for the Spurs. And then we'll see what happens in that Warriors-Rockets series.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's going to be good, man.
Yeah. Anything else, dude?
No, I think I'm good.
Good?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
For more on this, check out my latest article.
Yeah.
Tonight. I'll say it's been pretty consistent Fridays. We got Harrison dropping NBA articles, so be sure to check those out. If you want any more analysis or any more of his opinions, he goes into great detail with those. Continuing the shout-outs here, like I said, weekly articles every single week, just same spiel as every week. Heated-sports.com, emphasis on the dash.
Emphasis on the dash.
Twitter and Instagram accounts, we're very, very active on those. A lot of breaking news posts, a lot of posts about our articles, so you can put notifications on and be notified about those, both at @HeatedSports_ with the emphasis on the underscore for those. So guys, just make sure you're checking those out. We really appreciate all the interactions we've been getting. Any feedback on literally anything involving Heated Sports, we would love to hear about it. Oh, yeah. We're really interested in trying to build this brand, and I mean, obviously we're still a very young brand, so any feedback we could have, anything that you guys think we can do to improve, we're all
anything you want to hear, anything, just drop it on us.
Definitely, guys. So feel free to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. We really appreciate you guys tuning in to everything, and we'll be back here next Monday for you guys. So have a good one, everybody. Thanks again for
tuning in.
See you guys.